contributes 23% of GDP and employs 40% of the workflows, which is rising to 80% in rural areas. And 90% of farmers are around 7.4 million people are smallholder farmers and exposed to floods, droughts, and heat waves that are already disrupting their livelihoods and their infrastructure. So agri-food systems and our farmers are not only the victims, but they are also a major part of the solution. Yet globally, only 0.8% of climate finance reaches to smallholder farmers. And these numbers are shocking. And this is precisely why partners, UN agencies, MDBs, all the stakeholders, including government, needs to step in. And that is where IFAD also comes in. IFAD is a UN specialized agency and is an international financial institution dedicated to smallholder farmers and rural transformation. Next year, we mark 50 years of our operations, so we will definitely love to celebrate with all of you. We are focused to steward funds to deliver measurable results for governments, partners, and private sector by strengthening smallholder resilience and driving rural transformation. I also would like to just share a bit about IFAD because IFAD is an accredited to Adaptation Fund, Global Environmental Facility or GEF, and the GCF, which is the Green Climate Fund. We have been able to mobilize over 1.2 billion in climate finance and environment funds across 77 projects globally, and helping to connect global finance to farmers, water systems, rural communities, just to name a few. Why IFAD matters globally on climate finance and the work that we do. Beyond mobilizing external climate finance, IFAD commits to allocate 45% of its program of loans and grants to climate-related initiatives and activities. We focus on last mile delivery. We blend loans and grants with climate finance. We align with national priorities and the Paris Agreement and serve as an implementation partner that we can deliver at scale. Let me turn on or probably mention about Asia Pacific region. Why scale or where scale, complexity, and opportunity all come together when we talk about climate change. Asia Pacific is IFAD's largest and most dynamic portfolio. And I think it's almost all for all of the different various agencies working in the region. The current lending program of IFAD is about 2.356 billion for Asia Pacific. The region currently includes 51 active projects, which obviously keeps moving up and down, totaling about 2.75 billion plus 16 climate funded projects, which are purely from the climate funds, worth more than 200 million. And what we do is we're supporting resilience from coastal, peatlands management, watershed management, to rangeland pastoral systems and all of it through these funds. Overall, APR is about, portfolio in IFAD is about 7.7 times larger than our Latin American portfolio. So that can already give you the scale in terms of the work that Asia Pacific requires to do, not just by IFAD, but by all the other agencies. Pakistan is a high priority country for IFAD, and with 5 active projects, our financing totals to $5.51.5 million, leveraging total financing to $1.4 billion. Our aim is very straightforward, is to help the government to reduce rural poverty, strengthen food security in ways that are gender, youth, nutrition, and climate sensitive. Across Asia Pacific, we keep 5 priorities at the center: climate resilience, technology and productivity, strong value chains and private sector engagement, inclusion of youth, women, and indigenous communities, and a differentiated approach that matches solutions to country context. Pakistan, facing high climate risk, sits at the intersection of these priorities. We cannot dissect climate from other priorities. It has to go hand in hand. If there is one major takeaway from both global and regional experience and the initiatives that I've been part of. This is climate ambition is not constrained by ideas. I have been part of many country discussions, country programs. It's not constrained by ideas. They are great ideas, but it is constrained by finance and by delivery systems. And I think this is where the climate environment funds are a critical enabler. EFAD has mobilized around, as I mentioned earlier, US 1.2 billion, and in Asia Pacific alone, 200 plus million on climate and environment funds. And I do know that all the other agencies are also really mobilizing a lot of resources for Pakistan and for other countries in the region. And the whole objective is to expand mitigation and adaptation through agriculture and rural development. That's where our focus lies in EFAD. These partnerships that we build is to fill gaps, de-risk investments, and help countries deliver at scale. And for Pakistan, the way EFAD is working is we're working on a blended finance approach. And the blended finance approach, honestly speaking, is not optional anymore. It is essential because we really need to look into how can we combine resources, co-finance resources, build complementarities within our system so that we can work better together. In Pakistan, just to highlight few projects, is we've already translating into concrete investments. For example, we've got an approved Sindh Coastal Resilience Project, which is about 100 million EFAD investment. But within the EFAD investment, about 53.9 million is focused on climate finance initiatives. This is extremely important for us. And I want to highlight the fact that we are not only talking, but we are actually doing it in our new projects by categorizing primarily what are the climate initiatives, how are we trying to help the communities become more resilient in the areas that we are working. There's a new project in the pipeline, Balochistan Livelihood Support Project, where EFAD's investments are being combined or in plan to be combined with the JEF resources. And this project is already in the pipeline in terms of the design, and it's moving forward. So what does shifting from vulnerability to opportunity look like? Pakistan reflects the challenge we see globally. Climate shocks, rising water stress, and limited. But it also shows what or where scalable solutions exist. What comes very clear is climate resilience raises productivity and stability. For example, if you look at irrigation by having a very sustainable irrigation system can increase yields by 2 to 3 times. Solutions must run across value chain and water at the center when we look into agriculture. And scale depends on strong institutions, modernization, and technology, and that keep young people engaged. As I mentioned earlier, there's an opportunity where we can work on development paradigm on various angles while we are addressing climate issues. To transform Pakistan's agri-food systems, 3 shifts can accelerate progress, and which we are also looking towards in our work. First is scale climate finance to smallholder farmers by moving beyond pilots and blending climate funds, IFI resources, domestic finance, and private capital. We already have recently got an approval on a private sector project with Acumen in Pakistan and EFAD. The second is invest in systems like linking irrigation, market, finance, information, and strengthening early warning system and rural infrastructure. Third is crowd in private sector across value chains, agro-processing, renewable energy, digital agriculture, all of these topics using public finance to de-risk investment. 3 key messages, if you allow me. First, climate change is already shaping agriculture in Pakistan. There's no denying it. We have to act on it. But it is also a chance to modernize and build resilience. Second, resilience is achievable when solutions are integrated, financed, and designed for scale. Third, partnership is a multiplier effect. linking government, development partners, private sector, and communities to move from projects to system-wide change. So these are for us extremely critical, and we are also shaping this while in the work that we are doing in Pakistan and in the region, and not just in Pakistan, because as I mentioned earlier, the challenges are very similar in the region. So let that be the standard that we hold ourselves to. Climate resilience for smallholder farmers is the test of our commitments and the foundation of food security, stability, and growth. So let us fund what works, what can deliver at scale, and we can act now. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I would hand it back over to the organizers.
Thank you, Ms. Lamakani, for a very insightful discussion.